Hi, I'm Will, and this is the 31 Days of Lifetime, a sort of advent calendar for people who celebrate Christmas 365 days a year. This year, I've made it my mission to watch every single offering in Lifetime's 2020 holiday catalog, but I won't be doing it alone. Each day, I'll be joined by a special guest or guests that will help me dig into these instant Christmas classics. Today, I'm joined by the loves of my lifetime, Alanna Friker and Peter Iliopoulos.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
Will!
Merry Christmas, Alanna. Merry Christmas, Peter. We're going to be discussing the third film in Lifetime's lineup, Forever Christmas. When workaholic reality TV producer Sophie starts working on a holiday season show about Will, a wildly sexy guy who celebrates Christmas every day of the year, she finds herself falling for her mysterious, unlikely new star, renewing her long-lost faith in Christmas in the process. Forever Christmas premiered on October 25th and stars Chelsea Hobbs and Christopher Russell. So tell me, what are your relationships with Lifetime Christmas movies?
I don't think I've ever organically put on a Christmas movie from Lifetime or Hallmark or any of those.
Yeah, I see ads for them on like social media and like on other like TV shows, but that's really it.
Do you guys have cable?
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
No, God. Who pays for cable anymore?
Yeah.
I actually have YouTube TV.
If you saw Forever Christmas, saw the title, heard that synopsis that I read on YouTube TV, would you stop and watch it?
No.
No one seriously names movies that. Forever Christmas.
Okay, what did you guys think of our two leads, Chelsea Hobbs and Christopher Russell?
I feel like the girl looks and acts just like every like young white girl actor. Like she's like indistinguishable for me.
I feel like the guy didn't get cast on The Bachelor. Or
Yeah, that's
Bachelorette.
exactly it. He would actually make a great bachelor.
Yeah.
He looked Australian, but he's not Australian. I want to talk
Hemsworth
about,
type.
I don't know if it is his tattoo or if it
Oh
was
my
makeup.
God, the arm tattoo.
Was that a real tattoo?
You know what? It has to be because they didn't talk about it at all. So what would the significance be?
I didn't
It was so green. It looked like it was Sharpied on. It was not.
It had to be his own.
I will say I have to give props to this movie. They kissed before the end multiple times. And like
Does that not usually happen?
A long wet kiss. No, usually it's like one dry kiss at the very end and then the credits roll.
I was like, this guy, he doesn't. He has
Even
no
like,
boundaries.
The Temptation the first time, like she dropped her binder, they both kneeled down.
Yeah, and he's like,
he brought her hair.
Yeah.
He brought her hair back. And I was just like,
you're like, what's the point?
like what is?
Yeah, this movie did the meet cute moment like way after they had met, which was
Also,
weird.
just like 3 or 4 times. Something that like made me laugh is that, and like this is a reason I don't like movies like this in general, is like there's like has to be like a sincere moment where they like have to like connect with each other and like whatever and like you know spill their feelings. They did that moment every scene, like every single scene.
But also nothing was really said. Can you tell me like
No,
one thing
never.
about any of the characters in this movie?
What do you mean one thing?
Like
One
he
thing.
celebrates Christmas. Do you know why? Because I don't know why.
I think it might have originated with that gingerbread house his parents gave him, and how like that like kind of he wanted to like
Preserve it.
and like keep that feeling for like 365 days a year.
So he celebrates Christmas all year round, but it also feels like he's the least jolly person ever. Like you'd think if someone was like living in this Christmas state of mind, he'd be like happy and kind and warm, but he was like kind of cold and weird.
Right from the start too.
He always wants to be alone. I feel like.
I love how in the beginning when they're talking about like him before you meet him, because they're like, oh, this weird like maybe old man, and then he's like.
So there are a bunch of side characters in this movie that do nothing. Of course, there's her friend and her boss, who are probably the most important. And then I feel like his friends and side characters that have to do with him don't really matter at all. Like he's got this homeless guy living with him and the grumpy neighbor.
They give him no resolution either.
No.
Also, did his neighbor Fred look like Bernie Sanders for like just a second to anyone else?
Like thick
Just like
Bernie
1
Sanders,
second.
maybe.
Speaking of that, I feel like the neighbor, an old man with like white hair, I feel like they were trying to play him as like, oh, this guy might be Santa.
Yeah!
Appear out of nowhere, but like he was.
They
just,
should have like
so
leaned
cranky
into
on
that.
This is a reference no one may get. One of the movies this year is a sequel to a movie from last year starring Kelly Rowland. And I just think it's important to note, those of you watching, the house that they used in this movie is the exact same house that they used in the Kelly Rowland movie. It was very distracting.
Hilarious.
Except in that movie, she lived in the house and her neighbor was hot and the love interest. In this movie, the neighbor was not the love interest. He was an old man.
I felt it was so weird that Will came and just like appeared at her house like one of the first days.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That was creepy. You know, like we didn't get any idea that like he knew where she lived like earlier on. So like he just appeared out of nowhere. It's just like, okay, probably not like.
That was really creepy.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you told me when we met. Like, did she write down her address for you? Because that sounds a little sketchy."
It was very weird. I feel like every scene in this movie was very horny. Am I wrong in saying that everyone was horny in this movie?
When they played the mistletoe thing, like, oh, there's mistletoe.
He's like, "Oh, just ignore it."
Yeah.
Like the boss was horny. Her editor, supervisor.
There also always has to be like one or two like token gay characters that are like.
This is the first
so
one
cute.
This year. This is the first gay person
Really?
of the year, played by a straight person.
Classic.
So yeah, her boss was like hitting on him the entire time,
and he was like, "Okay," like he didn't even like pay any attention to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Do you
was
think
weird.
there was some subtext in this movie that was a little homophobic? Right? Like the boss was like really creepy, and then the guy was like, I'm not putting on makeup.
Okay, while they're getting set up, let's get you in hair and makeup.
Makeup? No, I don't wear makeup.
We literally talked about that.
Making him so masculine and putting like makeup on him is just like, no, done deal. Like I'm never doing this. Like,
right.
I quit,
Make it enough to quit.
It's like chill, you know, just a little makeup.
You have Christmas decorations up all year, and you're like mad about makeup. Like you have a giant fucking reindeer in your living room.
Yeah.
But you know, a little bit of foundation, that's crossing a line.
Right, of course. That's where the line is, Will. We found it.
I feel like the character himself, he tried not to make the whole thing about like his looks or his love life, but it's ironic.
Even though the whole thing was.
The movie is literally like they over-dramatized, they over-dramatized shirt off. Even the second time.
Yeah.
I think every one of these movies so far, at least, has had like the cutesy Christmas moment. They always like do like some tradition. In this one, I would say the cutesy Christmas moment of the movie is them cutting down trees, but it was of course tainted by how horny our two leads are.
How tall?
Oh, your height is perfect.
You like the shape?
Oh yeah, so symmetrical.
Their scenes together were just very uncomfortable in general.
I feel like the actors were like C-list actors.
No. They're way lower than that.
Yeah.
F-list.
Yeah, literally.
F-list,
F-list.
Yeah, the person who's had like the most stuff is the boss, I think.
Exactly.
The person with the least stuff was probably the coworker. They gave her like the first line. I was like, why? I'm like, she didn't deserve that. On that side of it, because you know we've talked about the relationship, which was like underdeveloped. So on the business side of things, the production company, would you have watched this show that they were making?
Absolutely not. Well, here's the thing. It's like there was no show. They filmed one episode like of a show. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was no show to watch.
It was like a pilot.
Like it didn't make any sense.
I think they were making like one of those Travel Channel anthology shows, like 10 Craziest Haunted Houses.
Right,
like
no, that's what I thought too. But they didn't talk about anyone else. They were just like, your show is gonna be amazing. And the promo was just him.
Also, why did they make a promo before the episode was finished?
Sounds about right though.
So she does succeed. She gets her goal of like changing how it's portrayed, and then you know the head of Bravada, the hit network, loves it, and she succeeds. She wins, and her producer is like, yeah, this is fantastic. And then she quits.
Right.
Why?
It was just to prove the point of love.
Ugh, could you imagine, like, I could actually change this business. But then she's like, nah.
Man. Nah.
Yeah. The
It
production
is
values
atrocious.
on the, like, production side of this thing, the, like, you know, we're TV show makers, awful. Like, it felt like they had no idea what they were doing. The fucking girl with the boom was in shot every time. And then she fell
You're
into
just
the
like-
set.
At least make it believable.
That was
Yeah, it was just like laughable to watch these people be like, we're from a big that's like a theme in all these movies, is like, we do this job, and it feels like they've done no research on the job. But the
Sure.
thing is, like, this is the job of the people who made this movie. So shouldn't
Right,
they
so
know?
You'd think they would, you'd think they'd have a little like influence.
You guys have any like little moments that stuck out to you?
when they're like decorating her tree, I think, like he just takes her hand and like swings her around and they start dancing with like no music. It was
And you're
just-
like, this doesn't happen
This
in real life.
Towards the
None of
end,
it-
she quits her job, right? And it's set up in the movie that it is Christmas time, like
Right,
when this is taking place, like actual Christmas time, not like his Christmas time.
right.
And she quits her job and she says to her boss, "Merry Christmas," and she walks away. And he says, "What does Christmas have to do with it?" Like everything.
That's hilarious.
Made
I
no
didn't even catch
sense.
that.
This was like a thing that was important to the plot of her lying about how much she loved Christmas to like getting good with him. First of all, he didn't care
It's
when he
weird.
found out she was lying. He was like, "Okay, cool."
Right.
I could tell. The way she was lying was so unbelievably fake.
I think it's ironic because it's a bad actor trying to act like a bad actor.
It's a layered performance. This movie, unfortunately, was just kind of boring more than anything. There weren't like
Was-
laughably bad moments.
Yeah. We're like, okay, only 45 minutes left. It's fine. We only have 45 minutes
Yeah.
left. It's almost over. We were like counting down because we we're like, this is so bad. We made it through though.
So, before we wrap up, I've got two little questions for you guys. I ask all my guests. Christopher Russell as Will. On a scale of 1 to 10, how dateable is this character? Not the actor. Just
Like
the
is
character.
like for me, like a 1. He's a 1 because if you have your house decorated like that outside of Christmas time and I walk in there and you're serious about it, I gotta go. There's something wrong with you. That's inappropriate, frankly.
I'm giving him a 2 because at least there's some passion.
There's quite a bit of passion.
He's got some passion. Hopefully that will reflect in a relationship. But
Okay, and then the final question. Who do you guys think was the MVP of this movie?
The dog. But he looked like stuffed half the time, which I won't,
He could have been.
maybe he was. But he
Yeah, I
was the
think-
most redeemable character.
Says a lot.
Says a lot by saying very little.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Where can people find you?
At Alanna Friker, at Debire USA.
at Peter Illy ILLI
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow to discuss a crafty Christmas romance with Summer O'Donnell, and every day this month to talk about a different Christmas flick. If you had a holly jolly time watching this video, you can go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to follow me into my descent into Lifetime Madness, you can subscribe and press that little bell icon, because every time a bell rings, you'll get notified about a new video that I post. I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.
I love Christmas blend. It's my favorite. Yay.